Now for day 7 up on the mountain. So Kurt Leibel and his crew were up here. They are tree guys. He had 2 guys. And Daniel Bierman had 1 guy, and he does construction, but can do just about anything, and he's not scared of nothing. That young man is a hard worker and absolutely not scared to take on anything. And Kurt is just the best tree guy I have ever seen. He is absolutely amazing and just an extremely hard worker, and just really knows what he's doing. And I cannot thank all these guys, all 5 of them, enough for coming and working and just putting in their heart and souls up here. And so first thing in the morning, I took Kurt up the mountain, and they had a log jam where a landslide had came down the mountain and just absolutely caused some terrible destruction. The destruction that it caused had wiped out houses. And when it wiped out the houses, it just completely buried all of everything underneath mud and debris. And it's just, it just completely leveled everything. And I've heard a lot of terrible things, and I don't want to go into it because I've seen how what people can say online can directly hurt people. And I'm just going to say it's an extremely tragic deal. And I don't want to show pictures, but I can just say that the houses were leveled, and that it was just a heartbreaking situation. But what happened is the logs came down and just completely blocked up any waterways for anything to go. And so we know that it's going to rain again in the future hard, and that water is going to have to go somewhere. And it filled up everything, and there's a bunch of houses down below that it could still potentially flood again. So we had to clear a waterway for it and dig trenches and do all that. And through that was just a massive log jam of giant trees just jammed up and stacked on top of each other, all under pressure, in pretty much the most dangerous, terrible situation you could ever imagine. And Kurt and his crew got in there and cut those trees up and cleared that way, so they can dig the trench and make way for that water, and so it don't flood the community again. And it's just, they are absolutely miraculous. And Daniel was in there too, and Daniel and his crew, and they just absolutely made it happen. And they are phenomenal and extremely hard workers, and me and this community can't thank them enough for all the hard work that they put in. They're just heroes, really. And so I woke up first thing, I dropped Kurt off at the log pile and let him start. And then there's another job up on the mountain of an elderly couple who had their bridge washed away to their house and access to their house, and the front side of their house, basically the support and stuff washed away, and it was just barely hanging on to the side of a mountain. So there was another crew that was up there building a bridge, and they did think they were going to need tree work, but we ended up not needing to do that. But instead, we decided that we were, Daniel and his helper and me were going to try and shore the front of that up. So we just went up there real quick to way up on the mountain, and just did basically a materials list for everything that was going to be needed to shore up the front of their house. And then I ran Daniel and his helper right back down the mountain, and they hopped in with Kurt, and they just went to town and had all that log jam and stuff cleared up by noon. It might have been a little later. It might have been 1 or 2, but they had it cleared up. I mean, it just, for as much work it was insanely fast. They're insanely hard workers, and it was really something to watch. But they got in there and got it taken care of. So while they were doing that, I was hustling, trying to figure out more work, because I was worried that I wanted to make sure that their time was most efficient as possible. So I decided to just drop everything I was doing and go in front of them and try to make sure to use the most efficient amount of their time. And so I went off the lists I had and just started trying to talk to people and figure out what I was going to do, or what we were going to do. And I started, I put a post out on Facebook and asked for people to please, if they have any tree work that's needing done, get a hold of me, and I will send the guys out there and they can do it. But it just needed to be essential tree work. I said, anybody who has anything leaning on their house or stopping their driveway or anything essential that they need, please let us know. And sometimes the people it wouldn't be as pressing And once again, I'm not a tree guy, so it was really hard for me to be a mediator in the middle. And that's why I wanted to try and create a website for trying to eliminate the middleman and just link the homeowner and the person that needs help with those that are donating time, and just making it as efficient as possible, like creating a website where somebody can see the work that needs to be done and contact the homeowner and just go straight there and just eliminate all the extra legwork. And anything we can do to make things more efficient is good. So that's what I just tried to do, is go in front of them, and I eventually found a house that had a giant tree on it. And so we were able to send them out there, and the homeowner was displaced. There were a couple, and they hadn't been home because of this giant tree on their house, and they were just scared to go home and scared to live in the house and didn't want to go in the house because of this enormous tree that was just on their house. And so once again, Kurt and Daniel and both their crews got in there and just absolutely destroyed it and took that tree off and had it most of the way done by the end of the day. And they were just absolute miracle workers. And so that was pretty much the most of that day. Was I just went in front of them trying to just make sure the most efficient use of their time was created. And I had what I thought would be enough jobs for them for the next day. And I felt pretty confident that they were good and set to go. So I had tried to scour and tried to go put eyes on every place, but I didn't just have a chance. There was just so many places and so much stuff, and each place seemed like it was 40 minutes away from each other. So it was a lot of trial and error and a lot of calling people and responding. And I didn't get to put eyes on everything, but I was able to reach out to people, and I thought I had a pretty good day planned out for them. It was just me doing what I could to try and help out. And I didn't, like I said, I'm not a tree guy. I don't know what I'm doing. And I was just trying to do all I could to help everybody out. But it worked out, and it's still, we were still helping people, and it was a great thing. So I can't thank Kurt and Daniel and everybody enough for all the hard work they put in. And it was a great day. So one final thing we were able to do late at night was we were just realizing how essential it is that we need to just directly link the contractors to the homeowners. So the website idea, Daniel said he had a friend who was willing to work on it and help out with it. So we got in contact with him, and I ran ideas by him, and he said he could help out and was going to give her a whirl and try and do it. It was a little out of his normal realm of things. I forgot the gentleman's name, but he immediately went to work on it, and I've been meaning to get back with him. I've just been so busy and preoccupied with everything else, I haven't really had a chance to. But it's just trying to get the wheels in motion, and I'm sure there's going to be trial and error and things we can do to make it better, but we got to start somewhere and just get it going. So that's basically what we're trying to do, is just figure out a way to directly link the contractors to the people in need. And so the people in need can post their phone numbers, have itemized lists of things that they need done, almost like a punch list. And then each number on the punch list can have a correlated code to what trade it needs. So number one on house number, 37 Broadway, needs an electrician, which is trade number 357, and just go from there. And so anytime an electrician comes to town, they can look up the code number 357 and correlate it to every house and just see every house. And it's going to be good for homeowners to take pictures so they can look at the work. And then they could directly pick up the homeowner, make sure it hasn't been done, because we run into a lot of times where the work's already been done and it hasn't been jotted down, and it's just, there's so much stuff and it's so hard to control everything. And sometimes where some people may think that like a tree is going to fall on their house and crush their house, but it's been that way for a bunch of years, but it's really okay, and there's just a fine line. But somebody who's a professional and used to it can look at it and see in depth of what they're looking at, and then that way they can decide whether it's pressing or where they want to use the most efficient use of their time, and just figure it out on their own and go directly from the person who needs help to the person willing to help them, and a direct contact that's just efficient and fast as possible. So that's what we're trying to set up and trying to get going. And like I said, it's just a work in progress, and any help anybody wants to throw in there would be greatly appreciated. I got so many irons in the fire, I can't do it. So, but I appreciate any help I can get, and I really appreciate these guys and all they're doing, and I appreciate everybody who has the tenacity to try and help out here in any way, shape, or form, just anything they can do. And it's a beautiful thing, and it's just great to watch people come together. But yeah, we're just keep plugging away every day. But that was my day 7.